College was supposed to be fun, especially considering how lame high school was for a quiet geek like me. These were supposed to be the best years of my life, but so far, they had been far from it. I was 21 when I transferred to Columbus State University. My family was from Cruceta, so I'd been to Columbus, Georgia numerous times over the years. Only now I was on my own in a campus apartment. And unlike Cruceta, Columbus was a big city. A sprawling map of clubs, bars, and restaurants. But I didn't make it out to these places very much. I didn't socialize with anyone really. No, I was still the shy movie geek from Cruceta High. Still Kyle Pleasant, ladies and gentlemen. 2013 wasn't shaping up to be any better than my previous 3 years of online classes. I was still alienated and awkward. Attractive without being hot. Lanky without being tall. Maybe I could have done more with my unkempt and frustratingly straight brown hair. Or wore colored contacts for these brown eyes. Or screw it. Just somehow change my bony face to chiseled perfection. But then again, maybe some fashion sense aside from constant cargo shorts and bland t-shirts would have helped me attract women. I spent all of my nights in my tiny apartment. Beer and Turner Classic Movies my only companions. I did find some ways to entertain myself. Call it urban exploration, to be classy, or ghost hunting to be crass. But I had an interest in the paranormal. Particularly local legends and haunted locations. My hobby took me all over Columbus. There was the Crybaby Bridge, and the Riverwalk said to be haunted by the ghosts of Civil War soldiers. But the Mona Lisa of my Kyle Pleasant's project had to be an abandoned Chuck E. Cheese on Macon Road. Like a shunned stepchild, the large building was a lone defunct property in one of Columbus's nicer strip malls. Okay, so maybe the treasured kitty attraction wasn't an elaborate haunted house, but I had fond memories of this place. My parents used to take me there when I was a kid, all the way up until 1999 when it had closed. I still had nostalgia for the good old Chuckster, even if I knew there was no way I could explore this museum of memories. The heavy chains wrapped around its front doors made that all too clear. But there is still something so strange about this particular playland. Even through the darkness, I could still make out the old games and displays. The graveyard of a 90s arcade. And amongst the clutter, I could even still see a tall Chuck E. Cheese animatronic behind the main counter. The playful Chuck that you had seen on all the logos back in the day. And his patented purple shirt and cap. And not to mention those puke green shorts. Curiosity had gotten the better of me. Rather than attending parties or going out on dates, I would hole up in my apartment and research a defunct Chuck E. Cheese. I knew that these stores came and went, so probably nothing too mysterious happened. But still, why did the company leave all their stuff behind? And why had nobody purchased such a decent location? Through my Google investigations, I found out that the Macon Road Chuck E. Cheese didn't close for bankruptcy. Apparently Muskegon County had forced them to shut down, all due to a series of weird accidents and malfunctions nobody in the Columbus press bothered to disclose. I mean, sure, there were allusions to failed inspections and out-of-date equipment. No mention of anything that would warrant such a sudden shutdown. No mention of any serious injuries either. Instead, the real reason became a riddle, and one that I couldn't help but think about. Constantly. Of course, inevitable rumors ran wild online. The Macon Road Chuck E. Cheese was haunted. Not that I was surprised. After all, a closed Chuck E. Cheese with its animatronics and games still intact was like a ghost town fueled by childhood nightmares. My only issue was that I had no way of getting in. I didn't have any friends in Columbus who knew more about this mystery. Not until I met PJ, that is. PJ was actually the one who had approached me. Like a curious fan, he ambushed me in the college library, right at the island of computers I usually occupied by myself. Rather than fulfilling a fantasy of being that manic pixie dream girl PJ embodied, with a rugged toughness, I could tell that she was streetwise and didn't give a damn about having perfect makeup, being an anorexic model, or keeping her hair fixed. PJ was wild. Thankfully more than Lisbeth Salander and Zoe Deschanel. She was herself. From the short black hair embellished by a perfect emo swoop to pale skin that hadn't seen sunlight in years. Hell, she even dressed worse than me. Always black jeans and grungy hoodies. I had never seen PJ around before, but God knows why. She was pretty in an unconventional way. Like me, I suppose. But instead of possessing my awkwardness, PJ was a friendly and charming 21-year-old. Over the next few weeks, we would meet up at the library. We would go out to movies. Even though she didn't drink as much as me, we would sometimes just chill in my apartment. She lived in a dorm on campus, so we were never too far apart. The feeling of actually having somebody to share adventures with was so nice, so refreshing. We were two weirdos enjoying our youth, and as much as I would have liked to become more, we stayed friends for the most part. But then again, my gaydar was just about as pitiful as my social skills. I was just glad she didn't freak out when I did tell her I'd like to date. That being said, PJ referred to herself as mostly gay. So there were some drunken nights where things got a little frisky, and PJ always made the first move. We would make out and feel on one another, and she'd have me send her pics once in a while. And nothing anything crazy like you see in the college movies though. After my 22nd birthday in January, I finally got around to asking PJ more about the Macon Road Chuck E. Cheese's. Of course, we had discussed it before, and PJ had even told me that she had a key for the Chuck E. Cheese's back entrance. Apparently, quite a few Columbus State adventurers did. Like me, PJ had grown up with that Macon Road fortress. In fact, her and her brother Justin used to go there every weekend. PJ even showed me one of the pictures they took at the Chuck E. Cheese's photo machine back in the late 90s. Her brother had long blonde hair and a goofy smile, a mini surfer boy. But on a drunken Friday night, I pressed PJ for more info. At the time, we were bored and sharing a 12-pack on my couch. And deep down, I was hoping she could tell me more about what caused the once mighty mouse to fail. PJ gave me a sardonic smile. You really like that Chuck E. Cheese's, huh? Holding my long neck, I leaned back on the sofa. I don't know. I mean, is it really haunted? PJ nodded. I like to think so. So, like, what happens? Like a professor ready to lecture, PJ lowered my beer. It's never anything too weird, PJ said in a low rasp. Not like Five Nights at Freddy's, I quipped. No, she said with a laugh. Nothing like that or any of those creepypastas. Lost in her reflection, she looked down at the empty beer bottle standing on the ground. I just get a weird feeling there. Like everything's the same but warped and twisted, you know? She faced me. Like the Chuck E. Cheese's spirit is still trapped inside. I took a restless sip. Well, what really happened? Why did they close it down? In a nervous rhythm, PJ ran her hands along her arms. They had a really terrible accident. Oh shit. PJ looked off towards the coffee table, obvious discomfort in her expression. But nobody really likes to talk about it. The whole town, honestly. Like an eager child in the crowd, I waved my beard towards her. So what the hell happened? A few kids died, PJ stated. They had a really bad fire and some people got trapped over by the machines in the ball pit. I placed the long neck on the table, my movements clumsy from the fear. Crap. My shaky, deep voice said, "That's crazy." "Yeah." PJ faced me. The whole town just decided to shut it down after that. Just leave it in the past. Intrigued, I moved in closer. "So this is all true. How do you know?" "I was there." Immediately I backed off, a sympathetic move to give her space. "Oh, I'm sorry, PJ." "No, it's fine." Fighting off the emotion, she went silent. I got out, but Justin didn't. "Oh, I'm sorry." Doing my best to comfort her, I wrapped my arm around her. "I'm so sorry, PJ." Calm, she held me back. "No, it's okay." An open floodgate of tears flowed from her eyes like I expected. She must have been used to the pain. The 15 years of agony. "I guess people just make those legends up about the characters being possessed by all the kids," PJ said. "You know, your typical bullshit way to make fun of a tragedy." I nodded. "No, I get that. That's really shitty." "Yeah, but in a way, I kinda like it." She flashed me a weak smile. "Whenever I go there, it does feel like Justin's back. Like I can still feel him running around. I can hear him." Supportive, I returned a smile. "For real?" PJ leaned in closer. "But those animatronics, they don't come to life." "Well, I'm glad." In a playful gesture, PJ handed me my beer. "You want to go tonight?" I grabbed the booze. "What? Really?" She caressed my face. Regardless of her cold touch, I felt warm adrenaline run through my body. "Yeah," PJ said. "We'll call it a late birthday present." So we up and left. On the way, I got drunker and drunker by the second, and not to mention more and more excited. By 1 a.m., we had arrived at Chuck E. Cheese's. The chilly January wind hurtled against us, but PJ got the back door open with ease. Then we took the plunge. PJ and I entered straight darkness, and the place felt even darker once the back door shut behind us. We were in a narrow hallway. A chilly narrow hallway. I could tell Chuck E. Cheese's had grown colder over the years, without any heat or rambunctious crowds. Shivering, I followed PJ down the hall. Our cell phones our only light. Our heavy breaths the only sound. We passed a few closed employees-only doors. Like the gates to El Dorado, I saw an opening entryway straight ahead. An entrance to Chuck E. Cheese's cheese cavern. "Come on," PJ said. She snatched my hand in a tight grip and led us to the finish line. We stepped into the main room. Shining in through the windows, the parking lot's lights helped illuminate our surroundings. I turned and I stole a glance to our right. Tall, towering figures sent chills down my spine, until my eyes strained to see them in the darkness. And then warm, fuzzy nostalgia soon soothed my fear. Like an intimate nightclub, I saw Chucky's band standing there on stage. All 4 of the animatronics looked ready to give the performance of their lives, even for an audience of none. There was Pasquale on the drums, his mustache more flamboyant than I ever remembered. And then you had Jasper the brown dog on guitar, his flannel shirt perfect for a redneck cartoon. Helen played the bass, a long-colored hen in a pink dress. And unlike PJ, Helen appeared to be a family-friendly punk. And of course, at the front of the stage was Chucky himself. Like a movie star, he stood with great poise, a big smile on his face. The animatronic clad in a gold-trimmed black tuxedo, a red bow tie, and of course, his signature red derby hat. "Wow," I exclaimed. Still guiding me, PJ grinned towards the stage. Yeah, pretty neat, right? Definitely. As we got closer to the front counter, I made sure to focus in on the band. And to my surprise and maybe disappointment, none of them moved a muscle. Or nor did they play snaps, rhythm as a dancer, or any of their other 90s staples. Instead, the 4 characters were more stationary than wax figures. Only Chucky's eyes never strayed from me. Those big and bulging eyes followed PJ and I all the way up to the glass prize cases. My eyes scanned the rest of the place. There was the arcade. Even well after 10 years, I could still recall all of the games. But then again, the fact that they were all glued to the very same spots helped jog my memory. I was glad to see the Ghostbusters game, the pirate ship, and all my other favorites. Even without electricity, the arcade was glorious. Everything preserved like antiques. Across the store was the ball pit. Even from here, I could see colorful circles overflowing inside of it. The awful fire must not have been bad enough to bring the contraption down. Even the thin netting looked unscathed by the flames. Right next to the pit was the photo machine. Not a booth. This was just a screen that you stood in front of to have your picture taken. Probably the one item in here completely worthless. Not from fire or damage, but just from technology. The machine, a dinosaur tech gone by way of the smartphone selfie. The glass prize cases up front were also in great shape. Rows and rows of odd toys and VHS tapes. Worthless to any rational retailer, but invaluable to any child fortunate enough to have a wealth of tickets. Another Chuck E. Cheese animatronic stood behind those front counters. The tall, playful one in his customary purple tee and green shorts. Letting go of my hand, PJ walked up to the cases. It hasn't changed much, I said. Even from inside, I could see the layers of chain swirled around the front entrance doors like metal cotton candy. I'm honestly kind of surprised. Yeah, PJ responded. Approaching her, I stumbled into the glass case. Oh, I said with a drunken laugh. Chuckling, PJ faced me. You alright? Yeah. I looked up and I saw the purple shirt Chucky looming over me. His beaming eyes stared at me with the zeal of a jewelry salesman. Through my drunken haze, I couldn't remember where I had last seen this Chuck. Wasn't he further behind the cases? PJ grabbed my arm. Yo, look what I found. Like a proud child, she showed me a handful of gold tokens. The gold now faded with a dark smudge, but the Chuck E. Cheese logo was still clear as day. Wow, I smirked. Where the hell did you get these? PJ dumped them in my hand. They were on the counter. She motioned towards the arcade games. Maybe give them a shot. Scoffing, I looked back at the glass cases. Like a museum exhibit displaying Native American artifacts. A dozen yo-yos and cheap watches stared back at me. I can win you a ring. Playful, PJ gave me a light push. Do it then. Armed with the coins, I fiddled around in the archived arcade. None of the games worked, of course. But just to see them in this catatonic state was enlightening enough for my emotions. And much to my delight, cobwebs didn't cover all the slots. The games are clean, as if they had been catered by a caretaker. And hell, the whole place just smelled nice. No storage smell or old people smell. Everything was just so fresh. PJ stuck around until her own sentimental urges took over. I couldn't stop her when she gravitated towards the ball pit. She discovered her own nostalgic fix. All along, I was saving the best game for last. Just like I did when I was a kid. The pirate ship. I stopped right in front of the classic. The small wheel awaited my eager touch. Before I could turn it like a deranged captain, loud thuds distracted me. I looked down across the store to see PJ stumbling around in the pit. Plastic balls swallowed up her feet and ankles. Behind a goofy grin, she gave me a wave. "Hey, it looks like you're having fun," I yelled. Cheesy arcade music erupted before me, a booming nautical jam. Stunned, I confronted the pirate game, and there on screen was the main menu, a first-person perspective of an animated ocean, all to the tune of that awful sea theme. "What the hell?" I muttered. My uneasy eyes surveyed the arcade. All the other games are still off, a void of black screens. I looked over at the stage. The band was still there, still deathly quiet. None of them had moved an inch, even though Chucky's eyes were focused on me with a night watchman stare. The pirate game's music somehow got louder. A conglomeration of flutes and fiddles tormented my ears. Growing more and more uneasy by the second, I glanced towards the ball pit, but no one was there. Not even PJ. Either she had left me behind or the pit had swallowed her whole. In a crescendo, a beeping rang over the nautical song. A mechanical crunch interrupted. Like a dangling tongue, a long row of tickets shot out of the ship game slot. The sea music veered towards victory horns. I had won the game without even trying. I stared down at the reward. No way in hell I was taking it. I might as well have been shaking hands with the devil. Heavy footsteps echoed towards me. Whirling around, I scanned the arcade. Just the village of blank screens around me. Not a soul in sight. Even the footsteps had stopped. "PJ?" my trembling voice said. No reply. Not a voice or a whisper. "PJ, is that you?" I asked. My gaze shifted towards the glass cases. All of the overpriced prizes were still there, but playful Chucky wasn't. "Okay, not cool, PJ," I said, forcing my voice to sound calm and collected, the polar opposite of the immense fear that I felt. I stole one final glance back at those tickets. They were crisper than a fresh $10 bill. Ignoring my inner child's pleading voice, I refused the reward. Panicking, I sped-walked back towards the ball pit. My frantic footsteps echoed through the store. "PJ!" I cried out. There is still no movement inside of the pit. Not a sign of life anywhere in that colorful cage. Putting my tokens in my hoodie pocket, I glanced at the stage. The animatronic band was forever ready to play, but only now they seemed different. Chucky and Helen had their heads tilted to the side, and Chucky's eyes were still on me as if he were singling me out from the crowd. Creeped out, I walked faster. I was too young and stupid then to run, all because I didn't want to look like a total chicken shit in front of PJ, even if I felt like one. "I'm ready to go, man," I yelled. Just a few feet away from the pit, the photo machine cut on. It didn't even have to warm up. In a split second, the screen went from black to colorful. An elevated music rendition of Smash Mouth's All-Star started playing. I came to a frightened stop. As the music played, the screen flashed old photos to tempt me towards it. Pictures of parents and children in all their 90s glory. I looked towards the pit. "PJ!" There was nothing. I mean, not a sound. Not a voice. Not even a ripple amongst a sea of bright plastic balls. Pulling my hoodie tighter, I faced the picture machine. The screen now froze on a large photo. A picture of me. 7-year-old Kyle Pleasant. Like a flashy neon sign, the photo drew me in. I staggered up to the machine, horrified yet fascinated. What the fuck? How? I traced a finger over the image, right over my beaming smile. I wore gym shorts and an old Braves t-shirt then. My grinning parents stood right beside me. All of us so happy and young. The real best years of my life. I couldn't cry in the cold, much less with all the terrified adrenaline pumping through my veins. But the emotion still had me choking up. In that brief moment, I was back in 1999. Back with my parents. Back in the glowing arcade. Back chasing those cheap, shitty prizes. Long before I became so isolated and jaded. Fighting back the tears, I lowered my hand, but my gaze stayed on the photo. One I really hoped Mom had after all these years. Even with Smash Mouth on, I was getting sentimental. Another picture floated across the screen and landed before my eyes. There was the picture that PJ had shown me. The one of her and Justin going wild in the very Chuck E. Cheese's many years ago. The two overjoyed siblings smiled right at me. Nerves exploited my heightened emotions. A lingering fear still boiled up inside of me. When I turned to look towards the ball pit, a flash erupted. The machine's big bright camera blinded me. Cringing, I shielded my eyes. Shit, I yelled. I blinked a few times to recover, and then I looked out at the machine's freshest picture. Horror conquered me, and just like that, my nostalgic thrill was gone. The screen showed 22-year-old Kyle Pleasant standing there, and right behind me was the playful Chucky. He stood tall, his glowering eyes staring down upon me. The animatronic displayed an eerie grin. Chucky had just performed a self-aware and all too creepy photobomb. Terrified, I whirled around, but the Chuckster was gone. Music far louder than the game or photo machine bladed towards me. It was Spice Girls' Wanna Be, and it blasted through whatever speakers this place still had. And to my ever-growing fear, I realized that they were coming from the stage speakers. My eyes confronted the performance. The Tux Chuck and his band moved to the beat in disjointed, awkward fashion, like a robot rock show. I glanced at the ball pit again. PJ! I screamed in a final desperate attempt to get my friend. Come on! No reply greeted me. No movement occurred in the pile of plastic. And with that, I bolted for the hallway. Breathing heavily, I got closer to it, closer to the exit. The arcade was going crazy. The mechanical crunches echoed from all of the machines, as did those flowing tongues of tickets. In a steady rhythm, they poured out of each and every game. Glancing over, I caught a frightening glimpse of the Chuckster's pantomime performance. All four of the band members had focused their intense gazes onto me. Under the strobe lights, I could see Helen step towards the edge of the stage. Fuck, I muttered. Using my phone, I illuminated the dark hallway as best as I could. Still drunk, I kept stumbling into the walls, and behind me, I could hear the loud footsteps following me, an army of heavy feet. Like the animatronic monsters, the 90s cheese chased me. Sugar Ray's Fly now shattered through the speakers. Disoriented, I reached the back door, but before I could force my way out into the cold night, a frozen hand snatched my arm. Kyle! I heard PJ's gruff voice cry out. I turned to see her standing right beside me. PJ's face so calm and chill. Her eyes showed no worry. Several kids stood a few feet away from us, Justin amongst them. All of them under the age of 10. All of their faces blank and expressionless, much like PJ's. It's okay, Kyle, PJ said. She leaned in closer. A sly smile crossed her lips. It's all right. Nervous, I struggled to pull away from her tight grip. PJ, come on, let's go. As if they sensed my fear, I could hear the footsteps picking up pace, like horses galloping through the night. Somehow PJ tightened her grip. I cringed in pain. "What are you doing?" "We can't go, Kyle," she said in a calm monotone. I looked over at the children and they were all smiling. Justin's the wildest and most mischievous of the lot. "This is where you belong, Kyle," PJ said. Struggling to pull away, I looked into her distant eyes. "With us," she continued. The loud footsteps came to a sudden stop. Too scared to even muster up a word, I looked down the hallway. Standing near the children were all 5 animatronics. Purple Shirt Chucky was leader of the pack. They all had wide smiles that rivaled Justin's, and they weren't moving or breathing. The 5 characters were back to being playful statues. Fly continued to swirl around them like a personal soundtrack. Like this was all a warped freaking advertisement for life at Chuck E. Cheese's. "Come with us, Kyle," PJ beckoned me. "No," I shouted. The children began chuckling, even PJ. Their taunting laughter formed a sick chorus. My effort to break away proved futile, and the struggle consumed me. I glared at PJ. "Let go of me." Smirking, PJ leaned in towards my face. "Please, Kyle." With all my might, I yanked my arm away from her grasp. The tokens flew out of my coin pocket in a coin explosion. A few ended up stuck in my palm. Behind an ever-present smile, PJ reached towards me. "Kyle." Gripping a few tokens, I swiped them at her outstretched hand. "Get away from me," I screamed. Like a blade, the token sliced through PJ's flesh. A long strand of skin fell to the floor. Horrified, I watched PJ raise her hand with childlike pride. Behind a smile, she showed off her hand's exposed flesh. Dark metal, wires. She was a machine. The children's manic laughter grew even louder. The hallway became a literal echo chamber of terror and madness. I noticed that the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics were also silent and still. Their bulging eyes just focused on me, as if they were guards for the horror lurking down the hallway. Her movement full of twitches and quirks. PJ took a step towards me. My friend's soul a twisted fusion of animatronic wiring and human flesh. "I just want to fly," PJ sang along to the cheese, her voice more hollow and empty than ever. "PJ," I said. Shivering, I stared into her unblinking eyes. PJ kept getting closer. The hallway became our stage, the laughing children our soundtrack, the silent animatronics our audience. "Put your arms around me, baby," PJ kept singing. "Put your arms around me, baby." Surrendering to my fear, I turned and I shoved the back door open. I jumped out into the January wind. Outside, I stole a look back. Through the glass door, I could see PJ watching me, and the children all around her like she was their cherished mother. Together they smiled as if posing for one of Chuck E. Cheese's pictures. I ran away, relieved that they weren't following me. Over the years, I never went back to Chuck E. Cheese. The one on Macon Road or Hell, not back to any of them. No one believed my story either. I called the police, but they found nothing out of the ordinary inside that Chuck E. Cheese's. They said the electricity had been out for well over a decade. But I know what happened. I even still have those ugly tokens. Not to mention the horrible memories as mementos from my final urban exploration. And recently, a PJ Brackett added me on Facebook. The picture certainly looked like the PJ that I knew. Or the animatronic I knew at least. I don't know. Nowadays I have trouble trusting just about anyone. Call it trauma or imposter syndrome. I mean, who's to say PJ was ever even real? For that matter, who's to say that I'm real? Maybe PJ was right all along. Maybe I really did belong at that Chuck E. Cheese's.